Yes, sir. We're ready to rock and roll from Toyota of Hollywood at 1841 North State Road 7. We'll be out here till about 3 o'clock. We got a loaded show for you on a second day of January. It is the new year. It is 2020. And so we are going to be talking plenty of sports, obviously, all kinds of stuff here on the program, all kinds of folks we're going to be talking to also throughout the day. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Thank you, as always, for supporting the program and doing everything that you're doing. And obviously here in this new year of 2020, we are looking forward to a big year here, Bill and myself, as we get ready to move forward, which will be a beautiful thing. I'm looking forward to it.
Start a new decade,
Yes,
man.
new decade and a new way of doing things.
Some roaring 20s here.
Yes, so we'll have a lot of things to talk about. Obviously, Michelle Kaufman will stop by for her weekly segment. Normally it's on Wednesdays, but it's been interrupted the last 2 weeks with Christmas and now the New Year's. So yesterday, we kind of did a little mini podcast, and we did a little sum for you, but it wasn't a full show yesterday. But we didn't have guests or anything along those lines. Kind of talked about what was going on in sports locally. And so Michelle's kind enough to adjust last week and this week. And so we pushed the segment into Thursday. So she'll join us at noon to talk a little bit about Inter Miami, which, by the way, we have a coach now that we can actually talk about. So for those of you that want to find out about the coach and all that, Michelle will give us a little insight on the coach. At 2 o'clock, Christian Capel is going to join us. Now, he's the writer for The Athletic. He covers the Huskies, the Washington Huskies. And as you all know, we've been doing a draft focus. Starting last week, we did Tua. We did Joe Burrow, we did Jake Fromm, and we did Justin Herbert. Earlier this week, we did, who was the other kid that we did?
We did Jalen
Hurts. Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts was earlier this week. Today will be Jacob Eason out of Washington. That'll be our draft focus. Apparently, the Dolphin Brass was focused yesterday because they were at the Alabama game, and they were – now, here's the part that's kind of like funny because they show the Dolphin Brass on the field and all that, and they were talking to Steve Sarkisian and I'm sure Tua questions and all that. And so it's kind of news, right? But what really would be news is if the Dolphins weren't there. That's what would be news. I mean, what's new? What I'm proud of is that they're there, that they're watching all these quarterbacks, that they're on top of all of this. Whether you agree or disagree, look, while I like Tua the player, I don't really want to draft him early in the draft because I think he's going to break down like crazy in the NFL. Now, I understand if you take him later on in the first round, it's early second because he's a project and all of that. I get that part. But for me, what I really want is I want a franchise that is responsible and that they're supposed to do their due diligence. And that's what I was happy about yesterday. It's not a matter of whether you agree or disagree to draft Tua. Okay, that's a whole other conversation you and I are going to have fun with over the next couple of months. And you guys already know my philosophy on this. If you're going to draft Tua early, then you draft another quarterback later to kind of cover yourself. That's what I would do. What's up, baby? So that is something that at least that's what I would like to see the Dolphins do. But yesterday I was, kind of laughing like, they're making a big deal of it. No, let's make a big deal of it if Chris Grier wasn't there. Okay? Let's make a big deal if a Dolphin scout's not there to watch that game or to go talk to the assistant coaches. I know Tua's not playing, but you still want to go there and see where he's at, if he's traveling with the team and and mental makeup, all that other stuff. You talk to coaches. Now, let's be honest. Most of these coaches are going to, pretty much talk up their players. It doesn't benefit them to be trashing any of their players because they're going to have more in the future, and those kids and their parents want to know that those coaches are there for them all the way through. Okay? That's why Chip Kelly lied through his teeth about Deion Jordan. And then the Dolphins really found out about Deion Jordan. So do your due diligence. Do your homework. Find out anything and everything you can about Tua. Makes sense. It really does. And watching yesterday, Alabama torch Michigan 35-16 with the backup quarterback. This is why I told you guys that if I gave you Oklahoma and Alabama, even with the backup, you're still picking Alabama. And while Alabama lost their quarterback and lost a bunch of games, they were still one of the 4 best teams in the country. I mean, really, you're not picking, I don't know, you're not picking too many teams against Alabama, even with a backup. Mac came in and played well. What do you have? Mac Jones had 327 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Now, the guy that doesn't convince me is the other guy that was on the field, Shea Patterson. I'm not buying that guy. People could tell me all they want that Shea Patterson has NFL talent and that he might develop into something. Man, I don't see it. It's like Justin Herbert. Watching him, it just, it doesn't convince me. And I got to tell you something. When I'm watching Justin Herbert yesterday, we had our interview last week about Justin, and if you heard that interview, you probably won't end up liking Justin, even if there's some of you out there that did. I mean, there are some of you out there. Most Dolphins, I think, are like me. They're not really big Justin Herbert guys. Can I get into something about Justin Herbert yesterday that I thought was kind of odd? I thought he was too emotional. Seriously. Like when I don't know if you watched it, but I watched the game, and then when it was done, this guy was crying like a lot, and then and the way he hugged with some of the linemen and some of the other guys on the team, there were a couple guys that kind of hugged him in a way like, yeah, kid.
Buck up, dude.
Yeah. No, it's more like, yeah, this is who our guy is, and, it is what it is. And, yeah, Justin, yeah, I love you too, man. Yeah, you big soft teddy bear. It was almost like.
You don't give the kid a pass because he's local and grew up liking them, and you get a chance to play for your favorite.
I give you a pass on emotions a little bit.
But you don't need to cry a bucket.
Dude, it was over the top. There was a part of me that was like, yo, come on, man. I get it. You got a couple tears in your eyes, but you're the quarterback, bro. Be a little bit more stoic. Be more of a leader. Show your composure more. You're the quarterback, bro. You know what I'm saying? You didn't win a national title. Yeah, you won the Rose Bowl. It's nice, but
maybe he's crying because he realizes this is the last game he's ever going to start.
Did you watch a Superdome yesterday? Did you watch a Superdome?
Yes.
Didn't really mean a lot to the regular public because the stadium was half full.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of empty seats in the Sugar Bowl yesterday, man. I've never seen a Sugar Bowl like that ever in my life.
Let's face it, since the playoffs,
right?
Everything is focused on those 3 games, the semis and the final.
And it's
everything else is kind of
it's important.
We got something to watch.
The kids, I'm sure the ones that are playing, it's important to them,
right?
But general public,
right?
We care. We don't. And I watch them all, so I like it. I enjoy it. So I'm a hardcore football fan. A lot of you that are watching right now, you're hardcore football. We kind of don't count, but general public says,
Yeah.
But going back to Herbert, I just thought it was, again, nothing wrong, but I just thought it was a little too much. That's all from my quarterback. I just kind of want my quarterback, hey, You want to shed a couple tears? Okay, fine. Wipe them off, and then.
Do you think maybe trying to change his persona, like, because I guess the immaturity thing and stuff like that, and
I kind of tied that to that.
I'm a little too emotional.
I kind of tied. That's what I tied that.
You know what surprises me? This kid won the Campbell Award.
Oh, yeah.
Like really smart.
Oh yeah, no, he has a 4.0 grade point average, bro.
To be that smart and it not transcend and
that
get you to be mature.
That doesn't mean anything.
Some capacity.
Well, you would think.
Well, you would think he
would. Jameis Winston passed the Stanford entrance exam.
Yes.
So I'm
just saying.
Harvey Weinstein, whatever, the biggest movie mogul, and look how he acts behind the scenes. He's some complete dirtbag. You figure common sense, right?
Personality is one thing, and then your smarts.
Intelligence and common sense are two different things, and maturity is apart from intelligence. You could be incredibly intelligent, but you might not be mature.
I'm just saying.
I mean, it is.
Understand my train of thought. If you got a 4.0, you study. You're probably
gotcha.
You're grounded.
Yeah.
And you do your due diligence.
Yeah.
And that would kind of translate to being in control.
Yeah.
But obviously not.
Yeah. I'm just for me. It turned me off even more to the kid. It just did. I mean, I don't want Justin Herbert in the 3rd round. Okay, seriously, I get it. If you take him in the 2nd, 3rd rounds, it's a real bonus because of the size and the arm and all that stuff. And I just don't buy him, bro. I don't buy him at all for the next level. I don't think that's a guy that you build an NFL team around.
You're thinking that, like, for him to grow up, it's gonna take way too long.
I don't
that he ever does.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's just one of those things where I don't think he's suited for the NFL when it's all said and done. Now, I might be completely wrong here, and in his case, I hope I'm right for him because obviously I'm not a big fan of his.
Obviously, he grew up in the area, and he's been and kind of maybe being under that little umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
He gets out on his own. He's across the country, whatever. And he has to grow up. Maybe that will be the transformation.
I'm not a big fan.
You're not buying it. You're not buying it.
Not a big fan. I am not buying that kid whatsoever.
Would you, as of right now, do you have the kid Eason that we're going to find out about today as the number 3?
It's a great question. I haven't talked to all my guys yet, so I don't know. If
I'm not talking about it, like as of right now, this second, what we know, what we've seen, where we're at, what would you say?
Who's my 3? Oh, it's a fantastic question.
Assuming that it's Burrow, Tua.
Right.
Right. Jalen is obviously somewhere in there from Eason. Herbert, you have obviously like not even in your 7, 6, 7.
I don't want anything to do. Right. I don't want anything to do with Justin Herbert.
He doesn't exist.
No. I'd rather take Anthony Gordon and just take my chances on the Washington State kid who's raw. We got a lot of ability. Jordan Love might be my 3rd.
Okay. All right. You know what? That was one of the ones that I forgot.
Jordan Love might be my 3rd. But I gotta.
I'm just saying.
Give me a few weeks now, and by the end of this month,
we're gonna find out.
I'll have more information on the different guys and things like that.
We'll have a better picture before the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
actually, a week before the Super Bowl because that's the Senior Bowl.
Emilio loves this T-shirt. Thank you. You can get it at Caneswear. Caneswear's got the shirts. Okay, they're really cool, man. I love the T-shirt. We were there at Caneswear on Tuesday. And I saw this. They posted it on social media.
Brett was reading your mind. That's why he hung it in the window, man.
And I loved the shirt. And I said, man, I got to get one. So when I went on Tuesday, I bought a shirt because it is awesome. Ernie says, Big O, looking forward to the next couple of hours. I'm on board. Thank you, Ernie. Appreciate that. And he also says, badass shirt. Thank you. 72 Fins logo says, good morning, Big O.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Can you repeat the name of the QB you mentioned the other day? He is the big guy, needs to improve on accuracy. Thank you. Oh, you're talking well, the accuracy one. I wonder if who are we talking about? Big guy needs to improve on accuracy. Well, the guy we're going to talk about today, Jacob Eason, is one of those guys. Nate Stanley is the guy you're talking about. That Nate would sail some. Yes.
The kid from Iowa.
Iowa is the one you're talking about, because we also did a focus on him, and you can check that out. Nate Stanley is the one you're talking about, 72 Fins logo. Lakeisha Smith is on and says good morning. Thank you, Lakeisha. Drubo also on board. And Bill, he says good morning to you. Alex.
Good morning.
Ojeda says, hey-oh, love the headphone necklace. Oh, yes, thank you. Appreciate it. You guys notice everything. What's it called? Go Gators, 2019 Orange Bowl champs. In time, it's time for Michigan to fire Jim Harbaugh. I mean, the problem with Harbaugh, he's kind of middling, right? He hasn't, completely been terrible, and he's raised money. So they're kind of stuck in the middle with him. But he deserves to get fired. He can't beat Ohio State. You deserve to get fired just for that. Well, you can't coach at UM and lose to Florida State every year. If you do that, then you're the wrong coach for the University of Miami.
I think in the last 10 or 12 games, the only top 20 team he's beaten was this year Notre Dame. That's it.
He's been terrible throughout his whole stay.
He's won 1 or 2 games against top 15.
Yeah,
that's
bad.
it. He's lost 12, I think.
Where did you get the headphone necklace? I think I got that on Amazon. Got it on Amazon. Tua might stay in Alabama. If he does, the draft stock falls even more. Depends on how he does, because the kid from Clemson will ball out and be the first pick. Yes, no doubt. And remember, the Fields kid from Ohio State will also be in the mix next year, too. Now, nobody's going to be in Trevor Lawrence's class, okay? Not even Tua, because remember the difference, both Tua and Lawrence can pass the ball, but there's only one that's built like Adonis, and it's not Tua, okay? It's freaking Lawrence. That's the guy that is a wall at 6'5", can run 70-yarders
like
for
a
you.
Giraffe, man.
And take a hit and bounce back, where Tua can't take a hit and bounce back. So whether Tua stays or he goes, I don't know why Tua would stay. Okay? Now, if he's wired like Peyton Manning, then I get it. He's one of those guys that's just like, hey, man, I'm about the life, and I'm going to enjoy my college life, and I'm going to not take the pros serious, and when that comes, it comes. And that's what Peyton did. We were all freaking out when he stayed his senior year at Tennessee. Like, huh? Why is he staying? He's still
he could lose to Florida one more time.
Right, that's what I was going to say. He's just going to choke against Florida again. It's that was the running joke in those days.
And if you remember, the next year, T. Martin wins the national championship.
Right, and so that's where Peyton, freaked us all out by staying, and he didn't have to stay. He didn't really gain anything by staying. He would have been the number 1 pick either way. It didn't matter. And this kid, because of the injuries, it just doesn't make any sense to stay. With Peyton, you were like, why are you going to risk injury and stay another year? With Tua, you're already all injured and beaten up, and you've got multiple surgeries. Why would you want to risk another injury, and there's no way you even go in the first round? The league is so starved that you're still going to go top 10 in this draft, because the league is so starved that as long as you can walk, they're going to take you, dude. So to me, Tua makes no sense in staying. I think it's 99% sure that he leaves, and that's why he'll have the press conference to tell you that he's going to leave.
Yesterday they were saying, I think it's January 6th is the day he's got penciled in as his announcement.
It's penciled?
It's penciled.
Okay. No, because if it's penciled, it's pretty special if it's penciled. Rich V says, longtime listener, fins up. Hope Tua does stay in school to take talk of him coming to Miami. Well, Ian from Brooklyn. What's up, Ian? Like the shirt and the mini headset. So you're also into it. Thank you. Big O is my dude. Well, thank you, Ian. That's very nice of you. Big Mike says, good morning from New York City. Thank you, sir. New York City, Los Angeles are in our top 15s of downloads every day, every month, so far for 4 months.
The other one.
Sometimes they'll climb both into the top 10, but easily top 15. And Denver, too.
Atlanta.
So apparently a lot of you are smoking weed and listening to us in Denver.
Atlanta, too.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yeah. No, Atlanta's top 10. Guaranteed top 10 Atlanta. We got a lot of listeners in Atlanta, or viewers, too. Let's see what else. User Tom says, Tua is no Peyton Manning. You're right. You're right about that. Big Mike says, didn't Peyton stay because he wanted nothing to do with the New York Jets? I don't think so. I think he stayed because he was crazy and liked that college life. That's all. There's been a couple of those. There's been a couple nutbags like that. It's happened.
Well, you know what doesn't hurt?
There's a couple of those guys that actually say, you know what, I'm going to enjoy my college life and I'm going to stay my fourth year and all that. And it happens once in a while.
Comes from a well family. You know, they got some money.
Right.
So you're not kind of pressed.
It's a great point.
To chime in.
It's a great point. It's a great point. Yeah. If you're a boza, you learn from your dad early on. It's like you don't take chances and you're out. And you'll drop a bowl game, and you'll get the hell out early, and all of that because there's, it's a difference. You know what I'm saying?
Were you surprised yesterday that all three of the Alabama potential number one, first round draft pick receivers were on the field?
That's an interesting question because they were playing with a backup quarterback. They didn't have to stay.
Yeah. When you put everything on the table, it's kind of like, I don't need to go out there and risk.
And it's becoming the norm to sit out if you have a lot to lose.
For sure.
And those cats have a lot to lose. So, that
I know I
makes a lot of sense.
I was just like, especially the backup thing. It was like, why are you guys, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm
you got a paycheck, man.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Man of 1,005 holds says if the Finns are going to draft Hubert or Tua or Herbert and Tua, they should draft a QB in the 4th round or sign one in free agency. I got one better for you. Let's not draft Herbert at all. Okay? I just think, and look, all kidding aside, I can't pick on the Dolphins if they do draft him, 2nd round, 3rd rounds, because that would be a steal because of the physical tools he brings to the table. I just think mentally the kid doesn't have it for the next level. That's all.
If he happens to be
That's all.
there.
To me, it's a wasted pick. I think he's a failure as it is. I give him no shot. Now, again, it could be dead wrong and the kid becomes a stud and all that stuff and whatever.
If he's still sitting there in the 3rd round.
No, 2nd or 3rd rounds, you take him.
You do?
Yeah, you take him, dude. Just because I don't like him.
Right.
Doesn't mean anything, bro. I'm no genius or anything like that. I haven't. Maybe maybe when I go this month and next month and in a month, 2.5 months, when we go to the combine after that, maybe NFL people convince me and say, no, listen to me. This kid can play. This kid does this. This kid does that. Maybe that's usually how I formulate all my opinions in the end. Some of them I'll tell you, hey, my gut I love this kid or I hate this kid or whatever, and I'll tell you. But
you know what? Getting away from the nest, he can't get any further from that area, Oregon, than to come to Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really happy for Mario. That's who I was happy for. But when Mario was describing him yesterday, he really didn't go and use all the physical tools. He was kind of talking about the mental makeup. You know what? I should have saved that audio, that part there, because you kind of read through it, and it's, I'm not telling you that, he's going to, the weight of the world he can carry it because of his arm and his talent, all that. It's, nobody knows about his heart and his drive and his determination, and, it's just, I just kind of found it interesting the way he kind of phrased it. But I just not a guy that I would convince. Now, on the Tua part, that's what I've been saying for a while now, that if you draft Tua, then you draft somebody else too, just to cover your, because you are drafting an injury-prone player, okay? You cannot look at Tua and say, all right, we're going to draft him and he's going to be healthy from here on out. You have to be the opposite of that. You have to draft him and be fearful that he will get injured, because that's who he is. If it was only one injury in a couple years, then I can understand if you're not all, okay, this guy is going to be all right. But it's 4 surgeries.
It's an exception. Yeah, like it is the rule. It's not the exception. It is the rule. This guy's going to break down.
It's too many. Too many. Let's see. Let's see where we at. Herbert is another Tannehill. Just bite the bullet and draft Tua. No regrets. Doug from Indy. Hey, Doug, you might be right. You'll see. We'll find out. Alman 241 says Herbert is another Heath Schuler. let's just pick Herbert and let's just go with any crappy quarterback that's failed, right? The come up, you predicted Russell Wilson. No, I did not predict Russell Wilson. Hold on a second. Okay? I'll take credit when I deserve the credit. I'm not taking credit when I don't deserve the credit. Okay? All I ever told you about Russell Wilson was that the league, most of the guys were size queens, and they loved him, but they thought he would be a really good backup. Here's what you're confusing. Tony Softly, okay, who was the NFL PA Bowl director. He was a personnel guy with the Panthers and the Rams. I've known him for 20 years. Friend of mine. When he was scouting for, I believe he was the Rams college scout guy then, he told me, he's the only guy in the NFL that told me this, there are not 32 better quarterbacks than him. You can win with Russell Wilson. You can start him and win in the NFL. Tony Softly's the only personnel guy that year that said he's starter and there aren't 32 better. He didn't tell me that he was an awesome quarterback or whatever, but he said he's starter. Everybody else loved Russell, but then said backup. Really good backup for you. Your guy goes down, he can, fill in, get you through a tough situation. That's what the view for Russell was, okay? Now, you want to give me credit that I brought you one NFL person that told you something different leading up to the draft. Insight, fine, but it's not me, okay? Because I never said, oh, no, he's starter material. I never said that. So, love to take credit for it, but I can't. But I will give the person that deserves all the credit in the world for it, Tony Softly. Okay?
You're honest to a fault, man.
No, it's just the brutal truth.
No.
It's just a brutal truth. That's all. Let's see. Oregon's offensive play calling was horrible and ridiculous yesterday. Or did it lack confidence in the quarterback? I'm just saying. When you got your quarterback running more than throwing, I'm just saying. When your quarterback isn't really putting up any kind of great offensive numbers pretty much week in and week out, when you move a quarterback to wide receiver, there's a reason why you're moving him to wide receiver. There's a reason why you had design runs for him yesterday. Now, one, the coaching, you thought you could take advantage of it, and you did. So it was also good coaching. But, you got him running, not throwing.
Well, here, we know firsthand.
Just saying.
Because Wisconsin's done a number on us a couple times. Their offense and defensive lines
right, they're physical.
Usually dominate the game.
Dude, he was 14 of 20 with an interception. Okay,
Pedestrian.
now it was a tip, if I remember correctly. But But I mean, it's not
it was
like
the tight end. I
Yeah.
think it was the tight end. It was right, and he had no business dropping the ball.
right. So I mean, but still, not a guy that's put up these numbers that you don't want to ride his arm. I'm just saying. Let's see. Mace Taggart says, I predicted Wilson and Mahomes. There you go, baby. You are the man. Any news on Highsmith? Oh, I got to get into that. Give me a second. Big O, I just seen Nate Stanley's highlights. He's a big boy, great arm and quick release. I like him. Late first or second round pick. The kid has a lot of potential. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. That's a project guy in the second round that you take, or third round. Probably third is where Nate will go, I think. But I can, desperate league, I can see somebody reaching in the second. I don't think he's a first rounder. Let's see. He'll learn from Fitzpatrick. One guy says, and Niner Soul or something, I think it is. What's your top 5 NFL prospects in your order, Big O? I haven't made that up yet, but if you listen to yesterday's podcast, I did give you who are the top 5 there. You can download that segment. It's there for you. We go over all the draft picks for the Dolphins, what position they're in. Did you know that they picked 5th overall in the first round?
Yeah, we didn't move post the Patriot game.
Did you know that they picked 7th overall in the second round and 6th overall in the third?
Yeah, I saw that we swapped out with the other 3 teams that are 5-win teams. Yeah. So we got the front end on 1, we slide in 2, and we slide in 3. I guess then we come back for the 4th round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's interesting how that works out, how you rotate that.
You know,
I end up on the 5, 6, and 7.
Did that make any sense to you? Like, why would you do that? If you are this, if you're 5, you're 5.
I don't know.
Why
I don't really.
7?
I didn't look too much into it, but whatever. It's not like I'm going to change anything. It is what it is. It's 5, 7, and 6. So
right.
It's just what are you going to do? But I just wanted to throw that out there, and I put it out there in the podcast. Again, I don't really like to repeat stuff. I'd rather, because you have it already there. You can go on demand.
You don't have to. It's there.
We're not a live radio show. So in live radio shows, I got to repeat things over and over again. We kind of speak our piece, and then we kind of move on. But check that segment out. We put it up yesterday. Sage says, hey, Big O, I have a Star Wars theory. Flores and Greer work for the Pats, the dark side, to bring the balance of the force for the Dolphins. I like it. We're the rebellion, right? Is that what it is? Okay. All right. You did predict Jimmy G. I did. That one I'll take credit. And I also loved Brock Osweiler. So, okay, let's also be fair. Okay.
1 step forward and 2 steps back.
Now, I like Brock Osweiler in the 3rd round. Denver took him in the 2nd round, okay? So because the same year they took Tannehill, I said, no, man, I'd rather take Brock in the 3rd because it's the same kind of project, but I'd rather fail in the 3rd than fail as number 8 overall. So there you go. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Got to make sure. Got to be fair, okay? So, we'll take credit when we got to take credit, but we'll also tell you, hey, we can swing and miss too sometimes. And Brock was a swing and a
I guess like
whiff.
It's like you've pointed out many times over, Elway's inability to pick his own position.
Yeah.
So if whoever Elway chimes in with a quarterback or likes, stay very far away.
I mean, Drew Lock is one of those guys that I tell you. He has talent, but then when you see the lack of maturity, and that was his issue, and then you saw him last weekend, I was like, okay, now we know what the deal was with Drew Lock.
He just wants to get his rap on during the game, man.
Dougie Fresh says, pencil it in now, or he said, spencil it in now. You have started something. Pats are going down in the 1st round. Nice job by you, Dougie Fresh. Spencil it in. I love it. That's fantastic.
All right, steering wheel covers.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Highsmith now. I mentioned a little bit about it yesterday on the program, and look, first of all, I don't think it's a good position for Highsmith. I don't. He's an NFL guy. He doesn't do college. He doesn't have high school connections. He doesn't deal with high schools. He deals with college because they move on to the pros. He's not at Edison. He's not at Coral Gables. He's not at Dillard. He's not at St. Thomas asking questions about players to get recruited. And he's been working in the NFL for a while now. Now, I don't know where Highsmith is personally in his life because he has already set himself up to be a general manager in the NFL. He hasn't gotten that opportunity, and he deserves it. And obviously what's going on in Cleveland here doesn't help him because we don't know what decisions he made or didn't make or whatever, but they're retaining him so far. They fired Dorsey. They didn't fire him. So obviously they felt Dorsey was the guy that was making the bad decisions. If Dorsey had guys under him that were giving him bad advice, I'm sure they would have fired those guys. And they haven't fired him. And look, let me explain something to you, okay? If you've got to bring in Alonzo Highsmith, then you should just fire Manny Diaz right now. Because I saw somebody write on Twitter that, Manny can't handle everything. Well, Saban does. Dabo does. Right? Last time I checked, Kelly in Notre Dame handles everything that's going on.
Those are the kind of guys that want their hands on everything.
No, but that's how it's supposed to be. Okay, Lincoln Riley is the face of OU. Anything and everything that happens at OU goes through his effing desk. And he wants it that way. Pat Riley, anything and everything that goes on with the Heat, buck stops with Riley, dude. Same thing with Shula. That's how it is. So if you need to bring somebody else in to evaluate what's going on, then you have the wrong person in place. Do you understand that? Once you hire Alonzo Highsmith, you have now neutered Manny Diaz. However you want to phrase it. Because now you have somebody else that is going to be critiquing what he's doing, guiding him, helping him, assisting him, doing it for him, whatever. It's like that scene in Bad News Bears when what's it called? Kelly Leak is catching every ball in sight, right? And then they're done with the inning and they're all running off the field and the big kid comes by Tanner and says, "Hey, Tanner, does he go to the bathroom for you too?" Right? Same scene. Right there. That's what it is. "Hey, Manny, does Alonzo go to the bathroom for you too?" I mean, that's embarrassing, dude. Oh, so you hire a head coach that now needs training wheels. You hired the wrong coach then. And get rid of him. And look, I don't know if Alonzo's at a point now where he's like, man, I'm never going to get an opportunity. I mean, listen, if you're black, it's not fun in the NFL. Jim Caldwell's one of the 15 best head coaches in the NFL, and they don't hire him. The Lions fired him, and he had 3 out of 4 winning seasons. And they go hire Matt Patricia, who's got a bird nest on his face, can't make the playoffs, can't win. Terrible optics. So maybe Alonzo Highsmith at this point thinks, man, I've been at this grind for 20-plus years. I've been working my way up, and nobody gives me a shot as a general manager. Yeah, maybe I should entertain college. But now you got to put training wheels on Alonzo Highsmith too, because he's got to learn the ins and outs of the college game. Now he's got to go out and get to know high school coaches and all of that. So is he going to be assessing the recruits too? So he has to tell Manny Diaz which recruit he likes and which one he doesn't? Come on, man. Is anybody telling Coach O you need to bring in Joe Burrow. Oh, man. Coach O's going to bring Joe Burrow in if he feels like it or if he doesn't. I like him. I'm going to sign him. That's all. Nobody's going to tell Coach O what to do. Nobody's telling Saban what to do. Are you out of your mind? They're going to tell Urban Meyer what to do. Come on, man. This is why the University of Miami football program has been lost. And I got to tell you something. The idea of all of this is a poor reflection on Blake James. This is a panic move. It's what it is. And for Canes fans, I want to tell you something. You guys are acting like a bunch of silly-ass fools talking about bringing in Alonzo Highsmith to run the team like a GM. What is there to do in college? You go recruit a kid and you coach him. There's no contract negotiations here. There's no agents. You're not competing for services here with an agent and comparing contracts and length and signing bonuses and all that. There's nothing to do here. Either you know how to recruit, either you know how to coach, either you know how to develop. And Larry Coker could coach some players, but he could not maintain and could not recruit. Dennis Erickson could coach Jimmy Johnson's players, but he couldn't maintain and couldn't recruit. That's why those two gentlemen took over loaded programs and they went downhill. And then the other phase of coaches that we've had here is Al Golden, not good enough in all phases. I've always said this for 20 plus years. As a college coach, you got to be three things. You got to be a recruiter, you got to be a custodian, and you got to be able to develop players. Okay? And if you can't recruit, you can't play the game. If you can't be a custodian where you maintain a level of the program, talent, and, of course, coaching. Because you're going to lose coaches, but you're going to have to replace them. And the good coaches, i.e. Spo, i.e. Pops, i.e. Belichick, i.e. Saban, they all lose coaches. Somehow or another, they're still winning. Holy crap, I wonder how that happens. Shula lost 100 coaches. So you got to be a custodian too. And Al Golden wasn't a custodian. Randy Shannon wasn't a custodian, wasn't a coach. Nothing. Wasn't a recruiter either, because he thought that whole Northwestern class was going to turn it around. And it was one of the biggest failures in the history of college recruiting. That Northwestern, now that I think about it, that's actually the biggest fraudulent group of recruits ever in UM history, because one guy was good. The rest of them sucked. But anyway, point is that you've had coaches here. Mark Richt couldn't maintain it, couldn't coach it. Sorry. Offense was antiquated, couldn't get it done. It is what it is. You got to have that magic. But you got to find the guy that has the magic. You can't find three people. No, man, this doesn't work that way. We had this discussion 2 years ago, okay? It was a discussion that I went back and forth with Marcus Lemonis about this, okay? And he forgot more about business than I'll ever know, right? I mean, he runs a profit. He runs a very profitable business. I mean, the guy's a genius, right? But he and I went back and forth, and we disagreed on something. And I'm going to go with it here, too, in the same philosophy. He was trying to defend the Jeter Group. I hated the Jeter Group from the get-go. Not because I hated Jeter, it's because I hate that you got 16 owners. I hate you got 16 millionaires, billionaires talking, because when you're a millionaire or billionaire, you got an opinion. Oh, baby, you got an opinion. You made a lot of money for a reason. You got an opinion. You think I want 16 guys arguing about what guy they should sign in baseball? No, dude. That's why I told Marcus Lemonis. And so far, I'm right. These guys haven't proven me squat. I want one owner, one family. That's all. It's the Mara family. It's the Rooney family. It's Mark Cuban. It's Mickey Harrison. I just want Wayne Huizenga. I just want either one dude or a family that owns the team. Okay? Why? Because you don't want too many chefs in the kitchen. It just doesn't work. And with the Marlins, you got 16, 18 powerful people all together. So when Lewis Brinson doesn't work out, don't you think half those other owners were just like you and me? Why is he up? The dude's batting 170. He's under the Mendoza line. Do you think every one of those owners for the Marlins was saying, oh, yeah, what they were doing with Lewis Brinson was right? Do you think that was right?
There is no way that 16 guys agree.
Right. 16 millionaires, billionaires.
Right.
Think about that.
Headstrong, opinionated.
Egos.
Yes.
And hey, God bless you, dude. That's how you got there. Intelligence, you have an ego, you have confidence. I got no problem with that.
The thing that pisses me off is the face of is Jeter, and he didn't bring any money.
Yeah,
bro, this is Loria.
$5. But again, and that's what I don't want the University of Miami. Well, we're going to have power struggles now? Blake James, Sam Yankovic. It sucks to get old. You know what I mean? Being 53, the body doesn't work the same, things don't work the same, all that stuff, right? There's only one positive I tell you guys all the time. Perspective. Been through it all. I've seen a lot of this. And I've seen the good and I've seen the bad. And I know what a good AD looks like. I know what a bad AD looks like. I know what a good coach looks like. I know what a bad coach looks like. And Alonzo Highsmith talk just tells me and magnifies that you don't have the right coach. Because if it was Lincoln Riley coaching the Miami Hurricanes right now, you wouldn't be talking about Alonzo Highsmith. If it's Saban or Dabo or any successful head coach, it's because they're successful. Mario Cristobal doesn't need Alonzo Highsmith above him. He's doing just fine with the Oregon program. Right? It's the silliest discussion out there. And all it's doing is creating a bigger problem than they already have at the University of Miami. And I'm a huge Zoe fan. Everybody knows I campaigned for him for many years to be the general manager of the Miami Dolphins. Okay? I said many times that he was ready for it. But this is not his bag, man. Oh, by the way, I did predict Chris Grier, if you want that one. There's one I did predict. Let's see what we got here. Marlins should leave town. They don't deserve that stadium. No, they shouldn't because we built that stadium. So what we need is just good ownership. That's all. It's what Jeter is, and unfortunately, until proven otherwise.
Ultimately, that situation, you think this was a Louis Chaffel, Cunningham, chime in, and then roll out with the coffers filled?
Yeah. Basically.
So we just got to wait till these guys get their number.
I guess. Yeah, but, I mean, don't you want to, make it a better product so you can sell it?
You would think, right?
Yeah. John Paul says he needs to take over for Jen Strawley, not to do Manny's job. But that's what people are talking about. To be like a general manager or something, oversee. There's no need for that. What you need is a real head coach. Manny needs to become a real head coach. That's your real problem. Let's not create anything else. The problem is Manny Diaz until proven otherwise. So Manny has to make the most amazing turnaround in one off season than anybody's ever done here in this town. Because he pretty much lost the confidence of everybody pretty much in town except for his family. I mean, no, seriously. I mean, come on, man. If you're a fan and you're sitting there going, oh, no, he's going to be great and he's going to turn it around, you're still saying that. You have no proof, nothing to hang your hat on with that. Anyway, so another guy says Blake James has to go. Dougie Fresh says Spencil, verb, an amalgamation of a matter that is both special and that is noteworthy to pencil. Spencil, a 2020 first word for the Big O lexicon. Look at you, Dougie Fresh. Mono says the Canes organization might turn to the Finns organization since 2012. Yeah, well, they've been bad. They need to turn it around. Can get their own stadium or play at Marlin Stadium? No, dude. They're fine over there. Stop with that stuff at the stadium. They're not going to get their own stadium. They barely can buy coaches, dude. How are they going to buy a stadium?
Well, we barely got the practice facility funded.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, come on. Stadiums. It's not their problem either. They were winning in the Orange Bowl, which was garbage. It was our garbage can, but it was a garbage can. It's not about the stadium, man. The stadium's fine, actually. Hard Rock's awesome. It's fantastic. Win, and you'll create a hell of an... That stadium was exploding in that Notre Dame game. Just bring a real team, dude. And you'll get the emotion all you want. That's all. The problem is that those two teams, since they moved to that stadium, they haven't been impactful teams, the Dolphins or the Canes. That's been the real problem. It's like it's like the silly ass Panthers discussion, right? That, the Panthers, they moved it to Broward. Oh no, we have to take our arena and we got to put it closer to our fans and all that. Meanwhile, they were selling out in Overtown. Okay? They go to Sunrise, and the place is empty. Do you know why the place is empty? Because you suck. Because you sucked for 20 years. Do you know why you were packed in Overtown? Because you were good. That's all. You could put the basketball team in Homestead or in Boca. Everybody would drive to it because it's the Heat. They win. Has nothing to do with the stadium or the arena. Has everything to do with the performance in our town.
That has been the formula.
Always.
You win, they
Always.
come. That's it.
Always.
You don't need the orange carpet and so-and-so in the skybox and part owner and all. That's garbage. Put a good team on the field, win games, we will show up.
May says the Orange Bowl was paradise between 70 and 85, the most intimidating stadium in sports, period. Yes, it was, and it was a garbage can. All right? It was a terrible stadium. Uncomfortable, urine's falling on you.
Those fiberglass seats, remember that?
It was terrible, but it was home for us. It was awesome. We had our greatest moments there, but we had our greatest teams there. That helps. And if the day the Dolphins get great again, or if the Canes ever get great again, trust me, that stadium will be rocking. Okay? Absolutely rocking.
I can remember being in the West End zone and them having a little flood problem with the bathroom. And, they had that chain link fence. You would kick the chain link fence and literally the rust, it would crumble. And there would be a little pile of orange and brown stuff on the floor from the chain link fence. It was, falling apart.
Big time. Big time. By the way, we want to welcome aboard the Vape and Smoke Shop in West Pines. They are a new sponsor of the program. Listen, call all the guys out there at 954-613-3367 And when we tell you about the Vape and Smoke Shop there in West Pines, folks, they got all your needs when it comes to knowledge. They have all the knowledge. And, of course, their staff, former European models, okay? Really, seriously. You got to check it out. They are amazing. And if you mention the Big O Show, you get 10 to 20% off the entire store. So get on down there to the Vape and Smoke Shop in West Pines. Were you going to say something, Bill?
You didn't tell me about the part about the models, man.
Yes.
When are we going?
Yes.
When are we there?
Yes. Yes, plenty of models there. Male models, by the way. Not that there's anything wrong with that. They've got hookahs at all levels, so if you love your hookahs, the brands Le Orange, Maya, Starbuzz, Khalil, Mamoon, they've got it all for you there. They've got the Coals, apparently. I don't know what the Coals are, but they've got them there. Coconut-based. They've got all kinds of other products there. That's why I want you to go to the Vape and Smoke Shop in West Pines, folks. It is your one-stop shop for all your vape and smoke needs. And, of course, they are a knowledgeable staff. Follow them on Twitter, by the way, at VSS West Pines.